Hi guys, it's Shans. I just wanted to do one last video for you guys as we close out this year. I really wanted to just sort of talk about something about the state, wherever your business is at right now. And I want to share with you a story. 2 years ago, in a couple of weeks, okay, so 31st of December 2015 is when I left the corporate world for good, okay. I'd been working in sort of IBM PricewaterhouseCoopers for nearly a decade, and I was, not in a good place. I was automating warehouses, so I'll show you guys this picture. You guys have probably seen it. Where is it? Here it is here. Okay, there's a picture of me in my old life. Okay, so I was automating warehouses. I was wearing Viz gear. I was wearing steel cap boots. I was literally one of the guys on a warehouse floor day to day. Okay. Oh my God, when I see this photo, it's like the past is visiting, but I love this photo. But anyway, what happened is, I'd been, for that sort of period while I was working for IBM, I had set up 3 e-commerce stores, and each of those stores had got to 6 figures. So the first 2 got to 6 figures in a year, and we did it with my partner at the time and a couple of friends, and we literally had a baptism of fire. We had to learn how to build websites. We had to learn how to do SEO. We had to learn email marketing, how to be on Facebook. It was like, oh my God. And because I was quite technical, because I was like, I'm sort of, I understand how to build websites and stuff. I was the one doing a lot of that work. But the third business is the one that I probably ignored. We built the third business so that my friend's wife could actually just pack all the orders in her garage, and we could actually make a passive income. And we got to 6 figures in 8 weeks. Okay. Now, when that happened, when we got that result, I was like doing the numbers, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, why am I working in this job when I could just retire off these 3 stores? But anyway, one thing led to another, and the business partnership, we had a couple of problems and everyone wanted their money back. So we kind of sold the stores. We made some money, but we just didn't have that income stream. So really I had to stay in working for a little bit longer. So yeah, it was kind of one of those things where I kind of shelved my dream at the time and just went back to the office. I was back in the corporate world, and I was pretty unhappy. I was miserable. I was working 1 million hours a week. I was, family life was suffering, and my health was suffering. I was losing all my hair from all the stress. I was adrenally fatigued. I gained weight because I couldn't get to the gym, and I just, as much as I love the guys in the warehouse, I just sort of felt like I was a round peg in a round hole. I was just not meant to be doing it. And it was a feeling I couldn't shake for many years. And so what ended up happening was I ended up making a decision. I still remember it. I made it in August 2015, and I made a decision that my life was going to be different. And I made that decision. And it was literally 90 days later that I had made 15 grand with my business. I'd found 3 clients. I'd worked out how to work with those people. I did it while I was working full time. It was hard. It was definitely not easy. I was building all my collateral, my websites and things. I didn't know much about funnels back then, but we were building websites, and then my contract wasn't renewed. Okay. So the contract I was working in wasn't renewed. And so I actually, they told me, they said, look, we'll see how we go in the new year. We'll see if we need you. And I was like devastated really, because I was like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I literally going to do? And so I started scrambling again. I started scrambling for another contract, and I was like, I better find something else. And then this little voice just quietly said to me, I think it's time. And I've just never forgotten that moment. I just thought, how is my business ever going to be successful unless I cut myself a break and give it some time and attention properly? So I had nothing to go to. I had no income. I had some savings, but I was finishing the contract on New Year's Eve, this time in 2 years ago. And I milked that contract right to the very end. I was there on New Year's Eve at 6 o'clock, emailing my boss saying, you know, this is my last hour and all the best. So anyway, I walked out of that building, and I remember looking back at that building and saying to myself, if I ever end up back in here again, it will be because that suits me and my family. And so I walked out of that building that night, came home, and a few friends and I had a glass of champagne and celebrated, you know. But then I had to face life without that job, you know. I had to face that I was, you know, addicted to the regularity of the income. I was addicted to being in an office. I was addicted to having somewhere to go. I was addicted to this feeling of I have to do Friday morning teas with people. So when I left, I had this sort of feeling of like lost. I felt like I was lost for a while in that January. But what happened is I made 30 grand in January 2016. I had about six clients reach out and work with me, and I made 30 grand cash in January. And I knew at that point that things would always be okay, because I was like, and it funded me for most of the year. So it was kind of like once I got off of that merry-go-round, I realized that there was something else waiting for me. But it took for me to take that leap of faith to actually get to that point. I had to make a decision. I had to do everything I needed to do. And I had a time frame because I had nothing to go to. I actually didn't have a job. So once I left, then I was in the world of entrepreneurialism. It was like, I live and die by my own results. So once I moved across, then you're faced with this whole bouncing ball syndrome. This is like having 8 business ideas, and you're literally running around trying to, you know, juggle these 8 business ideas, and you become a professional juggler. And, you know, in your business, that's also, you know, tempting, because, you know, I know some of you have this problem as well. You've just got 100 ideas and you're trying to implement all of them. And I can only tell you that the key to this is actually doubling down on one idea. Okay, picking that one thing that's going to take you to where you want to go. Now, that doesn't mean you can't change course and change ideas and change offers, but while you are spread thinly across 6 ideas and 6 opportunities, then it's highly unlikely that anything's really going to be successful. So in that first year, you have to stay focused. You have to go, you know, what am I doing? Where am I going? And what is that one thing that I'm going to do? So with me, you know, I haven't always honored that. I've had a billion balls in the air as well. But the more time that goes on, the more I realize that doubling down on one thing is the key. All right. So for those of you who are still in the corporate world, I want you to know that nothing is fixed. Okay. You don't have to face another year of the same. What you need to do is you need to take a 90-day pathway in front of you and plan for your future beyond your job. Okay. That means replacing your income, replacing the structure. It means getting comfortable with your entrepreneurial idea or your offer, or picking an offer, whatever it is. It means making that leap, and you have to make the leap. And I can't make you make that leap. And I stayed in the corporate world years longer than I should have, because I just wasn't sure if anything would work out. And I got to the point where I don't care if it doesn't work out. If nothing works out, I'll be okay, because it was worth it. For me, it was worth it. So making the leap from corporate world to business. And when you're in business and you've got 100 ideas, you have to pick one. Okay. So that's another phase that you go through. And then we will want to look at the results. Okay. So I was just on a call with a couple over in, I think they're in Massachusetts in USA. And I was just saying to them that, you know, if you're on the right track based on the result that you're getting, okay? And with our training, you might have noticed in the back end, like, or at least with the training I'm giving you guys, is we're really focused now on that bridge between 0 and 10 grand is one phase for you guys, and 10 grand and 20 grand is another phase, and 20 grand and 100 grand is another phase. So when you're going from 0 to 10 grand, it's about deciding what you're going to sell and how you're going to sell it. So if you're making $500 a month, if you're making $5,000 a month, or if you're making $9,000 a month, like you know how well you're going based on whatever that result is. Now, you can get to 10 grand a month, but if you're doing that in a way that doesn't feel easy, it's just, it'll eventually, you won't be able to get past it. All right. So the key to the first phase is sort of putting in place all of those foundations. And then the key from going from 10 grand to 20 grand a month is literally automation and systems. What that means is that you're implementing funnels, that you're implementing sales funnels, you're implementing webinar funnels, you're implementing website funnels, so that all the traffic that you're getting can have the best chance of conversion without you in it. Okay, now if you're in your machine, there's no problem. If you're in your machine, I get that, because sometimes you're in it. But if you're in the machine, the longer term, you get capped in terms of the hours you can spend on the project. And so, yeah, you want to really try and avoid being all things and everything within your business model. So you have to lift up and lift out a bit. And then when you're going from 20 grand to 100 grand a month, that's really about scaling. That's literally about having your business with whatever's working to 20 grand and then 5 timesing that. That means using things like retargeting, scaling on Facebook, advanced segmentation, building a team, all of those different things. And look, you just kind of get to a point where you know you're on the right track. So that's like the third phase that people go through. But look, guys, I don't know, Christmas has a way of making us all reflect. Okay, I sent this to my mastermind a couple of days ago, because I look at this photo of me now. This is a photos we're using in my business, but I look at that photo and I go, you know, compared to this, like, this is like chalk and cheese. Look at the before and the after. You know, I think that I look maybe 10 years younger now. I look happy. You know, I look at this person here, and even though this person is smiling, I just wasn't necessarily happy. And I just think that every year I'd get to Christmas and I'd be like, yeah, this was a crap year, and I'll have another crap year next year. So I don't know, when your business starts working and you start reaching that point where you're on path and you know what you're doing and why you're here, it's just really magical. And that's why the photo looks like that, because, you know, I definitely reached that point in the last couple of years. So, you know, I just really wanted to share that with you guys. Wherever you are at right now is not fixed, okay? It's just a litmus test of how much you've implemented or how much you have decided to make decisions and what action you've taken, and we're really where you're at. And the results will never lie. So you just need to take heart that tomorrow is another day, that you can set a new intention, and that you can really take this to whatever level that you want to take it to. So that's really what I wanted to share with you guys today. I want you to know that it's been a privilege and honor coaching you all this year. I've seen you all grow so much, like ridiculously. Some of you have done incredible things. Some of you have found it harder. It's been a harder journey for you guys. And then some of you might have given up altogether. So I just want you to know that I believe in you all, that being here for you guys during this time has truly been, you know, an honor. And I can't wait to see what you guys create in the new year. And I know that whatever it is going to be epic, knowing you guys. So that's it. Have a great Christmas with whatever you end up doing. You know, I hope you have a great time with your families, and that you are up to something fun, and that you really take on board some of the goals and intentions that you want to set for next year. And that I'm here for you guys in any shape or form. I want you guys to know that. It doesn't matter how long you've been part of this community, whether it was just a couple of days ago or a couple of years ago. I don't mind you guys reaching out to me anytime. I'm always here, and I'm supporting you in any way that I can. So that's it, guys. No crying. Ted and I had a few tears on our last call. And I don't feel like crying. I just feel like smiling, because it's just, it's just a really great time to be alive. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you all soon. Peace out. Merry Christmas. Bye.